Hi, Lauren from the Mineral Body here, and today we're just continuing our series on the 12 primary biochemic minerals. Today we're looking at magnesium phosphate, phos, as it is also known as. I prefer to use this one at the 6x potency, which is the standard potency for most of the cell salts, the potency at which they are most bioavailable. So, magnesium phosphate. The keywords to remember with this mineral would be pain and cramps. So magnesium phosphate is the biochemic antispasmodic agent. So due to magnesium being the primary constituent of the nerves, nerve tissue, nerve fibers, nerve fluid, any issue that arises from the nerves, any kind of spasms, neuralgia, shooting pains, sharp pains, that specific nerve pain, kind of like lightning, it can be sharp. Nerve pain also typically can kind of move around. It won't be in the same place all the time. In some cases it may be, but in some cases it might not. Both of these are examples of areas that magnesium will be hugely beneficial for. So it is not just pure magnesium that makes up our nerve fibers. It is just that magnesium is the primary constituent from which will unite albumin, this organic egg white-like substance, which is prolific in the proteins that we eat. It's a very available substance, and it's a fundamental organic substance that a lot of our tissue is built from. So to manufacture the nerve fibers and the nerve fluids, we need both magnesium and the albumin to unite with oxygen, and we can produce these more specialized tissues. So it is not the magnesium itself that creates the nerve fibers. That is done by the body intelligence. The physiology of your body will make that happen, but it needs magnesium in order to do so. So should you become deficient in this mineral, the nerves can become less functional. There'll be less perfect function of the nerves, and the body will be slower to correct these. Now this can manifest as cramps that are kind of ongoing, easy to set off. Like, you'll know this leg is prone to cramps. I can't flex it in this way without inducing cramps. This would be a call for magnesium. You might notice it in an itching that changes places. It kind of moves around the body, and this can be a nervous itching. This kind of thing, magnesium phosphate would be hugely beneficial for. So, the antispasmodic. So the function of magnesium phosphate: control of the autonomic nervous system, manufacture of the nerves and nerve fluid, supports correct nerve function, assists with cramping and nerve pain. Also vital for the function of over 300 enzymes in the body. That's huge. The enzymes are like the catalysts that allow for more advanced actions in the body. Say you need to eliminate a complex toxin from the body. Well, generally we would use enzymes to break this toxin apart and make it more synthesizable. And this will also translate to digestion. The enzymes are what we use to unlock all the different nutrients, all the different trace elements, all sorts of things from food. If you don't have the enzymes, your ability to process and digest these more complex substances is hugely handicapped. So looking after the enzymes is very important. Allergies as well. The enzymatic function of the body, like I spoke about with the toxins, so allergens. The enzymes of the body are one of the methods we use to break these allergens apart, again, to process them, to allow the body to be able to move these elements out of the body easily. We break them apart into smaller elements, more synthesizable elements, elements that are less abrasive to the body tissues. So there's many reasons to look after our magnesium. The enzymes do so much in the body. So if we're ensuring that we have enough magnesium, our digestive ability is going to be much stronger because we've got a much broader spectrum of enzymes working with us to assist with the digestion, and our ability to excrete toxins, deal with allergens, is all going to be boosted by having enough magnesium phosphate in the system. So magnesium relaxes the muscles. It's a known muscle relaxant. That is likely where most people have come into contact with magnesium, being recommended to take magnesium to relax the muscles. And this is because magnesium isn't only involved in the manufacture of nerve fibers, it's also involved in the manufacture of muscle fibers. So the function of the muscle, the health of the muscle, magnesium's involved all through there. The other really, really big, broad point is magnesium is involved with all cellular processes. And this is due to its involvement in the manufacture of ATP, adenosine triphosphate. This is a vital substance for the energy of the cell. For it to be able to do anything, any cellular process will require a molecule of ATP. And any molecule of ATP has had a molecule of magnesium involved in its formation. So basically, every single cellular function of the body is burning up magnesium. What this means is magnesium is a prolific mineral. It's a widely used mineral. It's used structurally to build up the nerves, to build up the muscles, and to look after the state of those tissues. But also, it is burnt all day long with every cellular process that we do. So you can just imagine how broadly impactful this mineral is. So it relaxes the muscles, it's involved in all cellular processes, and it promotes deep sleep. The reason it's such a good sleep agent is due to its sedating quality on the nerves, and it's not a reducing the output of nerves, it's about regulating the nerves. So it regulates the nervous function, which helps regulate the heart's beating, which helps just calm the entire system. It nourishes the muscles, it allows them to relax when they need to, it's preventing the cramping and spasming. So it's soothing the nerves, soothing the muscles, soothing the whole autonomic and sympathetic nervous system. Like I said, this wasn't a diminishing of nervous power, it's a regulating. So the other side of the coin is that areas that weren't having enough push, enough contractile power, these will be boosted. We're regulating the whole system. So the beating of the heart is going to be nourished, supported, bolstered by magnesium phosphate. The contractile power of the entire circulatory system, these tiny weeny little microcontractions of the smaller vessels, these will be bolstered, empowered by magnesium. Same for even down to the periostatic movement of the villi in the intestines, the micro fingers which are pushing the food items along and in the colon, pushing the excrement out. All of these microvilli, their contractile power, their ability to exert energy, exert movement, all of this will be bolstered, regulated, nourished by magnesium phosphate. So this makes magnesium phosphate a very important mineral that can be taken at fairly large amounts compared to the other minerals fairly regularly. So notes on usage for this mineral. Australian soils are extremely low in magnesium. Because of this, I will take 3 number 7s and 3 number 2s generally every night just as maintenance. The reason I include the number 2s is so number 2 is calcium phosphate, and number 7 is magnesium phosphate. In Australia anyway, the numbering systems differ, so pay attention to the name of the chemical more than the number. Okay, so calcium phosphate and magnesium phosphate, they work synergistically. Both of these minerals have a sedating, a regulating quality to the nerves. The beating of the heart requires both a phosphate, a magnesium phosphate ion, and a calcium phosphate ion for the lub-dub, the influx and the efflux. So yeah, magnesium phosphate and calcium phosphate are working synergistically. They help regulate each other. So if one gets thrown out of whack, it's putting extra pressure on the other one, and it's also lowering our ability to uptake that mineral from foodstuffs. So if calcium phosphate starts to get low, your ability to absorb magnesium phosphate from foods is also hindered, and this starts to influence both of them. So these two minerals, it's often beneficial to consider whether they should be used together. If you try to address what looks like a magnesium phosphate issue and you're not making headway, look to the calcium phosphate and see if we need to address both at once. Because this, like I said, if one gets thrown out of whack, it inhibits the other and we tend to lose both. So these minerals we should be looking at together, just considering. And again, so if you're trying to address a calcium phosphate issue and having trouble, it might be a magnesium issue that's inhibiting that uptake. These are synergistic minerals, they work together. They're both very broadly used throughout the body, both used to build structures up, both contained in large amounts in the body. So there's not really any harm in taking a little bit more of the magnesium phosphate and the calcium phosphate if you think it's going to help the issues you're experiencing. So notes on usage. Because the Australian soils are so low in magnesium, I'll take 3 number 7s magnesium phosphate and 3 number 2s calcium phosphate every night before bed, just as general maintenance. The main reason for this is these minerals work synergistically together. They're both involved in the uptake of the other. So if magnesium gets really low, your ability to uptake calcium phosphate will be hindered, and it does kind of work vice versa. And both of these minerals are such foundational minerals, such broadly nourishing minerals, and both involved with bone and bone health. So even if I don't have symptoms for the mineral, I'm bolstering my bones. I am building up the bone density by regularly supplying these minerals. And as I do hope to become a mother in the next few years, building my bones dense and strong will ensure that I have enough mineral output to export an entire skeleton's worth of minerals easily, without the issues of pregnancy arising, which are the issues of mother volunteering minerals that her system cannot really spare, but she does so anyway because we are biologically made that way. Okay, so applications for this mineral. Alcohol abuse. Alcohol consumption, it does not do good things for our enzymes, and it puts a lot of pressure on the liver. Alcohol works by desiccating the system. That lovely tipsy feeling that you feel is the desiccation of your brain, the inhibition of regular processes to occur. This is a fun form of poisoning, I guess. So it strains the liver, upsets the enzymes, spikes acidity way up. It does all sorts of things. And it will be drawing on our magnesium heavily, especially if it's regular drinking. Magnesium is very nourishing to the liver, bolsters, supports. So if alcohol is a problem for you, magnesium is something you should look at supplementing. Magnesium is also, it can take the edge off if you're wanting to disengage from the alcohol use. Same with tobacco use. Magnesium can help keep your nerves a little bit more under control, help the nervous irritation be regulated. Soothe the system, soothe the heart, soothe the muscles. All of this is very beneficial when we're doing something difficult, like disengaging from a habitual substance. Another application would be if your blood pressure is high or low, doesn't matter. Like I said, this is a regulatory mineral. So blood pressure too low, perhaps we need to bolster the beating power of the heart or the contractile power of the circulatory system to be able to keep that pressure consistent. Blood pressure too high, perhaps we need to soothe the nerves. Perhaps they're a bit too reactive, a bit too tense. Either way, high or low blood pressure, magnesium's regulatory effect on the heart and the entire nervous system, this is going to be beneficial here. The craving for chocolate is a definite sign of magnesium deficiency. Cacao is a good way to uptake magnesium. It's a source of magnesium, but if you want swift results, when you crave chocolate, reminder here, ladies, cramps, pain, contractions, spasms, and craving chocolate. Need I say more? Magnesium's going to be very beneficial here. So yeah, next time you find yourself craving chocolate, I think you'll find a big dose of the magnesium phosphate in the biochemic preparation is going to be a lot more nourishing, soothing to your system. Have a chocky too. So for flatulence and gas. So if your digestion is mildly inhibited, or you've done something silly like absolutely stuffed yourself and inhibited digestion because there's just too much food in your belly to digest, we'll have issues with gases building up, the ammonia, the fermentation of partially digested food in the system. This can build up painful pressure in the stomach, and when pressure is building, the body must create a counter pressure in order to keep anything bad from happening, and so this is done by the body, but it causes a lot of discomfort and pain. So colic, bloating, this kind of thing. Magnesium is hugely beneficial here, and it is because magnesium has the chemical power to bind to ammonia, bind to that gas, causing that pressure. So a big dose of biochemic magnesium will bind to all of that ammonia and just cease that pressure. This can be very quick. Take note, infants and colic. This isn't normal. This isn't something that we should just overlook. It upsets me greatly that this is just a normal infant thing now. No, it isn't. Baby food is just absolutely lacking in magnesium, and the babies are having extremely painful bouts of gas due to this ammonia buildup. So colic, where Bubba's drawing his legs up and screaming, magnesium phosphate will bring swift remedy here. This isn't something that we need to humor at all. We can take baby's pain away quickly and simply with magnesium phosphate. If you're administering to infants, you don't want to give them a whole tablet. This is easy. All we have to do is just add a little bit of water to that tablet and it turns into a paste. If Bubba's too small to have the paste in the mouth, we could just dab it on his lips, put it on his palms, the soles of his feet. There are ways to get the minerals into the body, even if the patient is too small to take it themselves. You could make a nice warm magnesium foot bath and sit little Bubba's feet in there. The feet are an excellent organ to absorb things through. As are the lips, as are the hands and wrists. So there are many ways that we can take Bubba's pain away. Colic never needs to be humoured, ever. Okay, so for hiccups, again, that's like a spasmodic condition. We can soothe the nerves with administering magnesium phosphate. When the immune system is just generally weak. So think of magnesium phosphate as a building up, a energy supporting, power generating stimulant to the body. So should you be having troubles with insomnia, having your sleep dysregulated, magnesium can help regulate things there. So it will help by soothing the nerves, soothing the heart, allowing your system to just relax much more deeply. So a big dose of magnesium, 3 to 5 tablets, say half an hour before you plan to go to sleep. It'll help you have a wonderful, deep, restful sleep. And it also gives your body some of the components necessary should it need to do any kind of upkeep to muscle tissue, nerve tissue, or anything like that. You include some calcium phosphate, same kind of ratio as a nightly dose, and this will be benefiting the nerves from both sides. Calcium phosphate is a huge rebuilding mineral necessary for any cell recreation in the body. So if you give your body these 2 minerals before sleep, you've relaxed the body, you've taken all the tension away, you've ensured that you can get to sleep, and you've also given your body both the energy and the materials necessary for all of our base repairs. I believe this is a wise thing to do before sleep, and this is because during sleep is when we go through all of our rest and repair processes. We purge different organs, we rebuild tissues. A lot's going on while we are unconscious. And supplying these 2 minerals before bed just ensures that we can make the changes we need to, we can repair the tissues that we need to, and we're bolstering the organs of excretion, magnesium assisting with the liver, ensuring that we can purge whatever needs purging. This I do every night just as general maintenance. For menstrual pain, you can alternate 3 and 5 as well, as both will be beneficial. For migraines, muscle spasms, when the neck is just stiff and sore. For nervousness, prostatism. For respiratory system pain, short and sharp. Magnesium phosphate is wonderful for the respiratory system because it is enhancing the contractile power of the lungs. So should you get in a state where you've had a chesty cough and you're just finding you don't even have the power to cough that stuff up, magnesium phosphate is going to be hugely beneficial there. And like we mentioned with the little microvilli, the ability for the body to expel mucus, some of these more tough substances that might build up in the lungs, it's the microcontractile power we need to move that substance, to expel it. So just to boost the respiratory system's power, magnesium phosphate will be very helpful. Excessive sneezing, again, this is kind of like a spasmodic reaction, and it's also showing us that we're having more of an issue with allergens. So magnesium phosphate will be beneficial there, as it's going to raise our enzymatic ability, giving us a much broader internal defense to be able to deal with irritants, allergens, things like that. For double vision as well, should this be a case of the nerves being a little bit upset in the eye, or the ligaments having little spasms, holding themselves too tense, messing with our ability to focus the eyes, magnesium phosphate will be beneficial. For writer's cramps anywhere. For whooping cough, yes, I wish I knew about that in high school. I wouldn't have had to have whooping cough for the whole 100 days. Yeah, magnesium phosphate is hugely beneficial there. That kind of barking cough where things are difficult to expel and just prolific. So upping the contractile power, upping the nervous power, the whole energy of the system, and bolstering our broad spread of enzymes. This is going to help us make whooping cough a non-issue pretty quickly. Perpetual yawning, that can be a sign of magnesium deficiency as well. And administering magnesium will be beneficial there too. So the facial tells for this mineral, they can appear suddenly, and bright red round marks. So bright red round rosy cheeks. You've probably seen this in kitties everywhere because their baby foods are so low in magnesium. Bright red cherub cheeks, this is a huge sign for magnesium phosphate. You might remember the ferrum phosphate, the iron phosphate, it also showed as a redness in the face. But if it is a redness because of iron, there will be heat coming off this redness. This isn't here with the magnesium redness. So magnesium redness, there'll be no heat that you can feel on the skin, but you might feel an internal heat. It's the same phenomenon as blushing bright red cheeks. That's magnesium deficiency. So if you're very easily embarrassed, easily reactive to the opinions of others, and you get that warmth and that full blushing of red to the face, your nerves are a little bit too reactive. You're having too much of a stimulus to this, what should just be medium level stimulus. It shouldn't be giving you that whole, terrible embarrassment response. Magnesium phosphate is going to be hugely beneficial here. It'll give you much more resilience, and can take away that bright red blushing effect that can happen. So yes, blushing easily. The redness as well, it may spread and cover the whole face. You might see this with people who, when they start drinking, after a few drinks, they'll get this flush of redness to the face. That's the magnesium deficiency making itself visible. The magnesium deficiency can also show itself in what we call hectic spots, which are just kind of red, blotchy spots that will happen down the neck, across the chest, or over the entire body even. This is a sign for magnesium deficiency. The tongue will be clear. There's no exact tongue tell for the magnesium phosphate. Casts, there's not really a magnesium specific cast. So unspecific for casts, unspecific for the tongue. You're just looking for the physical symptoms, the emotional symptoms, and the facial tells when dealing with magnesium. Other tells for this mineral. During the night, during cold, and with exposure to acids, all aggravate. Gentle touch as well is very aggravating. Being touched lightly, it's aggravating. Because your nerves are too taut, everything's too reactive. So warmth, applying warmth to the areas, firm rubbing and pressure all soothe the magnesium deficiency symptoms. So look for the physical tells, the facial tells, and then you can really cement the theory if you find that cold aggravates, gentle touch aggravates, and warmth and pressure relieves. That's a definite tick. Yep, we've identified this is a magnesium phosphate issue. So, yeah. There's definitely a lot more we could go into with magnesium, like a lot more. It's a huge heart stimulant, amazing for the liver, basically any of the hollow organs in the body. This is going to be hugely nourishing too. So I just want to leave you with this mineral. Because it is so widely used up by plants, this is the primary agent that gives them their beautiful green hue. Like iron colors our blood red, magnesium colors plant blood green. Plants used to be the primary source by which we got all of our magnesium, but due to the way that we farm now, the NPK fertilizers we use, we have stripped the soils of magnesium, and I do believe this will be more widespread than just Australia. So magnesium deficiency is becoming very common. Hence, so are allergies. Hence, so is just increasing reactivity of the public. I see many signs of broad magnesium deficiency, and it's such a broadly impactful mineral and so influential over our ability to uptake the calciums too. So if we throw off our magnesiums, we're then lowering the quality of our bones, and the bones are the basis for all health, where all blood cells are manufactured. It's the start of our immune system. If our bones are deficient, our health will always be deficient. And I see epidemics of magnesium deficiency. So this is a very important mineral, and one I think you should consider. Even if you don't have some of the major tells for this mineral, just considering whether you're getting enough of it, or if it could be impacting your ability to uptake and use the other calciums. So yeah, just a few points to consider. Any questions at all, just let me know in the comments, and yeah, thank you for watching. Bye.